think one of the reasons I like writing music like this is that whenever I'm listening to club music for an extended period of time, I always feel like I need to listen to something classical or minimal. It resets the brain really after listening to 909s for hours on end. Having listened to the John Hopkins Late Night Tales and Bonobo's Late Night Tales, it felt immediately like the perfect place, the perfect home for it. And when I sent the music over and they were so excited by it, it just seemed like a perfect fit. Hi, I'm Sasha, and this is my Late Night Tales album, Scene Delete. The concept behind the record is that we wanted to find a home for a lot of the music that I'd been writing, working with my team writing over the last couple of years. I had about 50 pieces of music that were contenders to go onto this album. Some of them were just ambient loops that were, say, 40 seconds long. Other ones were more finished tracks. I do some writing when I'm on headphones on the plane and stuff, and I do that a lot. I'm jet lagged most of the time when I'm on tour, and I'm waking up at weird hours in hotel rooms in Tokyo or wherever I'm at, Buenos Aires, Tokyo, LA. And also a lot when I travel on the road, I tend to set up little studios wherever I'm at. I didn't know what my next project was going to be, so I heard the Late Night Tales, the John Hopkins album, and I realised he'd used quite a lot of his own music on that, because I know the Late Night Tales albums are normally compilations. The music was in a similar kind of place to where a lot of the ambient stuff that I'd been working on and the kind of melodic stuff that I'd been working on. So I gave the Late Night Tales guys a call and said, you know, I'd be really interested in doing a record with them, and I sent them over all these pieces of music, plus a load of music I was thinking about licensing. They wrote back immediately and said, we didn't realise you had so much original music, you know, would you be interested in actually doing it as an original album? And then Cheeky Paul from Late Night Tales sent through kind of 40 minutes of it that he'd sequenced together. It wasn't obvious to me how it should be sequenced. It was actually really good to get the label's input on actually how this music should be presented. At that point then I realised we can, you know, we've got 40 minutes of music here, we can finish this as an original project. We don't actually need to license music from anyone else. I feel that every time I've made an album, whether it's this one or the previous Involvers, whatever, it's like putting a band together. The band I put together for this album is pretty amazing. Paul Nolan, who had just relocated to LA at the time that I was there and was an old friend of mine. Dave Gardner and Dennis White, who's Thermal Bear, based in London. They've been working with me since the last Involver as well, and they're pretty much my kind of writing production partners.
It was more about having the studio running as much as possible, because of the time difference we were able to work pretty much 24/7. The work was equally split though. I mean, there was drums done in LA and music done here and vice versa. It wasn't kind of one thing. It was just, basically it was like being in the same studio. Because we had a lot of stuff that couldn't really be played out in clubs, and if you just stuck big kick drums underneath it, you'd ruin all the subtlety. So yeah, but better to get it out in its true form.
There are a couple of tunes on there, you know, Bring On the Nighttime and Rooms are definitely tunes, but they're kind of interspersed with a lot of texture and ambience, and it's not necessarily about an album with 10 hits on it. It's much, you know, I think there's like 20 pieces of music on here, so yeah, it comes in and out of your consciousness when you're listening to it as well. I think it's an album that's, like I said, a bit more ambiguous and flows in and out of you, rather than being something that demands your attention for 74 minutes.